Big day. Big day, buddy. Welcome to another episode of Giuseppi Watches a Movie. Today we continue our 2020 as a disaster movie marathon with Not Armageddon. I'm sorry, Deep Impact. I was a couch cushion back in 1998, but from what I'm told, they put out two different giant asteroids about to destroy the Earth movies, Deep Impact and Armageddon. Deep Impact came first, and then Armageddon came second, like 2 months later, and made everyone forget about the first movie. Rightly so. While this one is okay, I don't think it holds up to the Michael Bay goodness of Armageddon. Mostly because this one is depressing as hell. Oh my lord. Like, first of all, I don't want to spoil Armageddon because we're going to do that one later on in the marathon. I guess I just spoiled part of the marathon, but in this one, like one of the comments, look at me spoiling this movie. In this one, one of the asteroids actually hits the Earth and kills like millions of people and destroys like every city from like the East Coast all the way up to like Ohio or something like that. Like millions of people die, like people's parents and babies and like little kids, and it's so depressing. And I'm supposed to take solace in the fact that, like, well, some people lived. Morgan Freeman lived. Well, of course he lived. He's the president. But then there's some weird storyline where Frodo gets married to young Helen Hunt, even though they're like 12. And then somehow they adopt her sister, who's now, I guess, her daughter, and maybe that makes Frodo his own grandpa somehow. I don't know. It's kind of icky. I mean, they have a whole ceremony and they kiss, and I'm like, oh, you should be pulling her pigtails or something like that. Like, this is creepy. But yeah, and then like there's a space section with Robert Duvall and indie gem Ron Eldard. Look him up. You'll be like, oh, hey, that guy. And the space section is like, it happens so quickly. It's like, hey, we're going to send some people in space into 10 months. And then like 2 seconds later, like, well, we're in space now. And then 2 seconds later, like, and we failed. It's just, it was very abrupt. I was like, oh, way to develop the characters and their relationships. But, yeah, so this is, I got to expect bummers from all of these disaster movies because they're disaster movies. But the thing is like, you can only really have a disaster movie if, like, there's a happy ending. Because if you go into a movie and it's just disaster after disaster after disaster, and then it just ends on a disaster, it's like, okay, I'm going to go stick my head in the oven. You know, you watch it trusting that there's going to be a happy ending. And this happy ending is like, well, not everybody died. We're going to rebuild the White House. Okay, great. But what about rebuilding my family, Morgan Freeman? Oh, man. Just rethinking about this movie makes me want to go have a drink. All right, I'm going to go do that. Look towards our next movie coming up in the marathon. I think we're like 4 or 5 movies in. We got 10 total that we're going to do. And as usual, send in your requests for our regular episodes of Giuseppe Watches a Movie, because hopefully something happy, because I'm going to need it after all these disaster movies and just 2020 in general. So send me some happy movie suggestions. All right, bye.
I talked to Civil Defense. They said if you and I got married, we'd be family and I could get you in.